Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Sada's Green Life. I really hope you all are safe, healthy and happy. I am back once again with an exciting recipe, this time an Italian dish, and it is nothing else but vegan meatballs with spaghetti in tomato and ricotta cheese sauce. Yes, the name is very long, but the recipe is very simple. It's going to be split in 3 different parts and we are quickly going to dive into it. So let's get started. So like I said, the recipe is going to be split in 3 different parts. The first part is making the meatballs, vegan meatballs, for which the ingredients are very simple, basic mushrooms. This is about 70 to 80 grams, finely chopped. Then we have about 50 grams of soya granules that are boiled and drained really well. Like squeeze out all the water because we want the balls to be nice and firm. Then we have about 1 large size onion finely chopped, breadcrumbs about 20 grams, about 10 to 12 of these garlic pods that are again finely minced, 1 tablespoon of soya sauce, the dark soya sauce, 1 teaspoon of black pepper powder or 2 teaspoons of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is one ingredient that gives your vegan food that little cheesy flavor and texture. So it's a very ingredient to add in recipes like this, especially the Italian ones. Then we have some red chili powder. It's the Kashmiri lal mirch, the one that gives color. We have about 1 spoon of salt and 1 spoon of oregano spice mix. It's easily available in the market. So those are the ingredients. Of course, yes, we need oil to fry our meatballs. Now nothing, we just go and mix all these ingredients in a bowl and then fry them. So we will now make our vegan meat, out of which we'll make our balls. So let's go ahead. We have the pan on here. Put it on. Once it's nice and hot, we'll add some oil. About that much. I'm going to add all the onions into the pan. Sorry, I forgot to add the garlic. So first goes the garlic actually. I'm going to add it now, doesn't matter. I'm going to let it fry as well. So at this stage, when the onions are slightly translucent, I'll go ahead and add mushrooms. Mushrooms won't take much time to cook. It's quite an effortless vegetable. So we're just going to cook this well with our onion. And once the mushrooms start to cook, they will start to ooze out a lot of water. So we have to make sure that we dry out everything, like all the moisture content of this mixture, because we want the balls to be nice and firm. So as you can see, the mushrooms have now released a lot of water. They have shrunk quite a bit, so they're cooked really well. I'm going to add the soya granules here, about that much. Also, I'll add all the other seasoning like the soya sauce, which is about 1 and 2 teaspoons. Now, soya sauce is not something that you use only to make your Chinese food. It adds a nice umami flavor in recipes like this, which is why a tinge of soya sauce really works wonders. After mixing this really well, I'll add the dry masalas as well. About 2 teaspoons of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, basically salt to taste, 1 teaspoon of pepper powder and a half teaspoon maybe of oregano mix, and nutritional is the whole thing, Just give it a nice mix here. Now this is done. It looks amazing. It's smelling so good with some really basic stuff. The aroma is wonderful. Okay, gonna turn off the stove. So now we're going to shift it in another bowl, let it cool down and add the breadcrumbs and start making the balls. We're going to shift this mixture in a bowl now. It looks exactly like meat. It tastes also like meat. I just had a bite to check the flavors and it's makes me uncomfortable sometimes, you know, when it tastes so identical. Thing is out here. We'll take the breadcrumbs now and just add these into our mixture, and then nothing, just mix them all up. Mix it all up. After mixing this all really well, we'll start making balls. Now if you feel the binding is not good enough, because sometimes the mushrooms can dry out really fast, you know. So if you think it's not forming a nice ball, you can always add 1 or 2 tablespoons of maida just to make sure that there are balls that form. I could actually have added because they're still slightly loose, but I'm going to take a chance and go ahead with it as is. You can deep fry the balls as well, but we are going to shallow fry because why not? Once the pan is nice and hot, I'm going to add a lot of oil here and start putting the balls. I'm going to start leaving the balls in the pan. We'll be turning the balls from the other side now, like so. They're nice and brown on one side. Doing the same for the other side. Some of them have loosened up, but that's okay. That's why I said you can probably add a little bit of corn flour or maida, refined flour, if you want to make them slightly more firm. Alright, so that's how they look. By the time this gets cooked from all sides, we will also start to make our pasta and the sauce. This is almost done. Wow, it's almost there. One more side and it should be done. So the balls are done. I'm going to start taking them out in another plate like that. So the vegan meatballs are ready. We will now go ahead and prepare our sauce and pasta. So on one side, what I'm going to do is put the pasta for boiling, for which we will need to add water first and let it come to a nice boil. Add a little bit of salt. So this is the regular drum wheat pasta. It's about half the packet that you get in the market. Spaghetti pasta. You can basically make this recipe with any pasta of your choice. It tastes equally good. But with spaghetti, the look and all is really nice. So I like to do it. And this was one of the recipes that we had in our cafe Earthlings. And it was such a super hit. Obviously, there are a lot of tweaks and changes from the one that we used to make in the cafe, but that was such a bomb hit. So when I say that you should try these recipes at your home, you should really, because I know these are tried and tested and loved by a lot of people. Okay, the water is coming to a boil. We will add some oil into it because we want the pasta to be nice and separate and not stick to each other when it boils. We are going to add this. We are not going to break it. We just leave it at this so that it will automatically slide into the pan once the bottom part starts getting cooked. Okay, now let's make our sauce. By the time the pasta is getting cooked, we are going to make our sauce. Sauce is again very simple. We have about 1 large cup of tomatoes that are pureed. Then we have 1 small cup of ricotta cheese. Now what is ricotta cheese? We had made a recipe last week which was nothing but shahi tukda, and we used rabdi on it, right? So the starting step was of ricotta cheese, and if you remember, I had told you that we can use this for many other recipes as well. So this is that cheese, and if you've not seen that episode, I would highly recommend go and see that so that you know how to make this one. It's basically nothing but watermelon seeds and cashews that are blended, strained and cooked with a little bit of vinegar or lime juice, and the way it is strained is what makes it like this. So please go and see that episode. So that's ricotta cheese. We have about 15 cherry tomatoes cut into halves. We have some basil leaves. Then we have garlic pods, about 10 of them, finely chopped. Black pepper crushed, about a spoon. Salt to taste. Oregano spice mix again, Italian spice mix, anything that you like. Then we have sugar. Sugar is something that we will have to add to make our sauce have that little balanced taste. And last but not the least is the olive oil. Now let's go and make our sauce. So we put another pan for heating. Once it's hot, we'll add olive oil, about 2 spoons. We'll add our garlic into it, all of this. Once the garlic is cooked or slightly golden brown rather, we'll add our tomato puree. Okay. At this point, when we see that the tomatoes have changed the color, I'll add all our dry masalas. So basically, half a spoon of black pepper powder, half a spoon of salt, oregano mix, the whole thing, which is about half tablespoon, about that much, like half teaspoon of sugar, powdered sugar, and then we just mix it well and let this cook. Our pasta is also done, so we are going to strain the pasta. We don't want it to stay in the hot water for too long because then it will become extremely mushy. We want it to retain the shape and texture. So I'm going to drain it into the colander like so. That's that. So that's our pasta. Looks beautiful. Keep it aside. And let's come back to the sauce. At this point, we will add the ricotta cheese, 2 spoons. And let this mix really well. Wow. So this will be like the tomato and cheese pasta, the marinara pasta, pink sauce, whatever you call it, but it tastes amazing thanks to the cheesy flavor of ricotta and tomatoes. So this is all come together really well. What we need to do now is put this in the blender and blend it nicely so that we have that extremely creamy textured sauce. So let's do that. So our sauce is here in the jar. It's slightly cooled down. I'm going to go ahead and blend it. Okay, now once again we take a pan. I'm going to add some oil, not much, about 1 spoon. So I'm not going to add the whole thing, I'm just going to add half of these into the pan and now let them cook. We don't want to cook this too much. Now we can pour the sauce in here. Cream sauce goes in here. Wow, smelling so good. Look at that cheesiness going on here. What I'm going to do is I have a lot of pasta water in this bowl. I'm going to take it in the blender. Close the blender. Mix, 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 and pour it in the pan like so. Alright, and now we just give it a nice mix and bring it to a boil and then add our spaghetti. So the sauce has come to a nice boil. Let's go ahead and add our spaghetti in there. So they are drained completely. Make sure. Now we don't want to stir it too much and break the pasta. We're just going to basically fold it in the sauce like so. Wow. Wow. There is another way of doing it. Plate the spaghetti first and then you can pour the sauce on top of it. That is another way of doing it. But this way it will just kind of get really mixed with the sauce and it will also soak in some of the flavors. So I like to do it this way. Okay, that is it. Now the last part is basil leaves. We are not going to add all of these, we are just going to add a few and then keep the rest for garnish. Alright, the pasta is ready. Now is the time to go ahead and plate it, for which I have chosen this long white plate. Looks amazing. We are just going to let it slide into the plate like so. And there you have it. My goodness, this smells so good. Crazy goodness this is. Now nothing, we just have to quickly place our meatballs on top of this like so. Some recipes like really make me happy, and this is one of them because I had not really expected it to come out so well. The meatballs, while our pasta and all was getting ready, I kind of ate one of the meatballs and it tastes so much like meat. I can't really fathom this. It's amazing. All right, now we're going to just take small bits of this cheese and put them on the pasta like that, like so, like here and there. Okay, and drizzle olive oil onto the cheese only. Now this is extra virgin olive oil, which means you can have it uncooked. In fact, it's supposed to be had uncooked. So I'm just going to drizzle this on the cheese. And last but not the least is our fresh basil leaves. My God, this recipe is probably one of the best that we've made in this kitchen, right from the start like the meatballs to the way the sauce is turned out and the pasta in itself. And with that, this episode comes to an end. I really hope you all enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed the process of making it and bringing it to you all. Okay, if you liked it, do give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and do consider subscribing to the channels if you want to know more such plant-based recipes that are painstakingly curated by our chef, who is none other than Narhari from Animal Climate and Health Safe Foundation. He does a wonderful job, and the organization also does fabulous work when it comes to spreading awareness about plant-based lifestyle. So it's not just food, everything and anything you will get to know about leading this lifestyle under their profiles. So I'll leave all the links in the description box. They are on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Do check them out and do consider following them as well. Yeah, with that, it's a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you very soon in the next one. Until then, stay safe, feel good and be blessed. Bye.